playoffs. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a little playoff prediction because tomorrow I got to work 12-hour shift. And then most likely I won't be able to do a Saturday because that's when the playoffs start. First game's at noon. I'll be asleep. And therefore, I won't be able to get the playoff predictions in time. So you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and do that now? Get it over with, right? The 2025 NBA playoffs predictions. I'm going to go through the matchups and then do a little, you know, prediction. I'm going to go from there and see who I got winning the NBA Finals. So there's still two games going tomorrow, so I'm probably going to do a breakdown of those two games first and foremost. Let's go to the first game Friday. Miami goes at Atlanta. They're playing for the number 8th seed. Miami, I underestimated them. Tyler Hero had a damn near perfect game the other night against the Bulls. Damn near perfect game. Alex Burke, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, I can't pronounce his name, and Khalid Ware. I didn't know that Kevin Love was still in the league, even though he really technically never plays. But he's still in the league, believe it or not. The Miami Heat, could they possibly make a deep playoff run like the 2000, what was it, the 2023 Miami Heat? Probably not. But at the same sense, I didn't expect them to go and destroy the Bulls either. They're heading to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Sharcher. I can't pronounce his name. Muhammad Gaid. And I can't pronounce this as some sort of foreign name. Aquin Wu. I've seen him before. Not too bad of a player, but there's not really a caliber of good players on this team. In fact, they got better players on the bench, like Terrence Mann, Caris LeVert, probably never plays. Clint Capella never fucking plays. They never give him any playtime minutes. And Larry Nance Jr. probably almost on the way out the door. But other than that, I don't see the Atlanta Hawks winning this game. Trae Young's carrying this team. And once you shut down Trae Young or you frustrate him, he doesn't have anybody else on the team that's going to pick up the slack. I can see Miami coming in Atlanta and taking that game and getting the win. So I got Miami to go in Atlanta and get the win and secure the 8th seed. So I got the Heat get in the 8th place, and they will be playing Cleveland for the first round of the playoffs. Now the next game, let me go ahead and X that out because I got Atlanta Hawks to lose. The next game I got Dallas at Memphis. Let's look at the depth chart. For the Grizzlies, you got Jay Morant, Desmond Bain, Vince Williams Jr., Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey. This is possibly going to be the next Yao Ming from what kind of looks like. They played a damn good game against the Warriors. That was a damn good game. Impressive. Could have won that game. Could have, would have, should have, but it didn't happen. They're hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Clay, Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively II. And not to mention this guy who came out of the Blues, scored 15 the other night off the bench, Brandon Williams, Max Christie, Dante Exum, Daniel Gafford. They got a pretty damn good squad. I'm just saying, that game is going to be good. The Mavericks at Memphis, I predicted they were going to go in Sacramento and win. I just didn't think they were going to win in the manner they did, but they pretty much gave a death blow to the Kings. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dallas Mavericks to go in Memphis and get the win. That's my upset, Cameron. I got Dallas to go in and get the win against Memphis, but I don't think they're going to give a death blow. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a double-double from Anthony Davis, a double-double from Clay. And one thing Dallas is good at is their bench. They have a deep bench. And I expect them to put Looks like they put 40 points the other night off the bench. I'm looking at around the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Mavericks to go in Memphis and get the win. All right. So that's going to break down my play-in tournament. So we'll go ahead and go with the first round. And since I got the depth chart for the first two series, 1 and 8 seeds, I'll just go from there. And then from there, I got to type in the rest of them. So you're going to have Thunder against the Mavericks, the 1 and 8 seed. If they had Clay, I would have put my money on the Mavericks if Klay Thompson was playing. But Klay Thompson's not playing. Not Klay Thompson, I meant Kyrie Irving. Why did I get that confused? Kyrie Irving is not playing. So, because it's just Klay, because it's just AD, I know they got some role players, but it's going to be hard to stop that OKC Thunder team. SGA, Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein. It's going to be a difficult task for the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks can possibly make this a 6-game series. I think it'll go 6, but without Kyrie, it's going to be difficult for the Mavericks to make, an upset. So I'm going to go ahead and go with OKC to win in 6. 4 games to 2. So I'm going to go ahead and X out the Mavericks real quick. Miami Heat taking on the Cavs, the 1-8 matchup in the East. The Cavs got a lot of injuries. A lot. Darius Garland's hurt. Donovan Mitchell, questionable. Max Struss. Evan Mobley's hurt. 4 of their 5 starters are potentially hurt, and maybe that's why they kind of slid away from the number 1 seed. At the bottom now, Kyrie got an ACL tear. There ain't no way he's playing. There's no way he'll make it from an ACL tear. He's out for the year. They would be fools to play him. They got other players anyway that could step up, but that would be risky, especially towards ACL in March. I wouldn't risk it. Yeah, he got an ACL tear. Yeah, man, it takes like a whole year to repair. Screw that. Might as well let him wait. But now to get back to this, I think Cleveland's kind of banged up even at 64-18. They could have easily won 70-plus games. The injuries didn't start piling up. But they'll be taking on the Miami Heat. The Darius Garland-Tyler Hero matchup is what I would look forward to the most. Struss and Wiggins. I think Wiggins can outbeat Struss. But Adebayo versus Evan Mobley, that's another good matchup to see. I think this potentially could go 6 or 7. If I would have said that Jimmy Butler was with the Heat, I would have put the Heat over the Cavs. But because of the fact that I think the Cavs are not going to go out in the first round, I don't see that happening. I think the Heat will make it a little bit interesting, but I think they're going to need they don't have the star power, I think, to match up against Cleveland in a 7-game series. I think Cleveland's going to come prepared, and they're going to win this series in 6. I say it'll go 6. Go ahead and give me Cleveland to defeat the Miami Heat in 6 games. So I got both the number 1 seeds winning. I don't think there's going to be much of a Cinderella this year. So let's go ahead and go to the next matchup. Hold on, my cat's attacking me. God damn it. Get the fuck off of me, man. All right. I'm going to the next matchup here. I have too many links open up. We're going to go to Denver against the Clippers. The 4-5 matchup. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Nuggets at 4. The Clippers at 5. So the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. Versus the Clippers, James Harden, Chris Dunn, Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, Ivan Zubac. This is probably like my favorite matchup besides the one in the East between the Bucks and the Pacers. This is probably one of my favorite ones here. And then I don't know if they cut Westbrook or they brought him back, but apparently the Nuggets still have Westbrook on the roster. Unless they cut him. I don't know if they did. But Ivan Zubac matching up against Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and Kawhi Leonard guarding each other. You're going to have James Harden on Jamal Murray. Dude, this is going to be a very fun matchup. Norman Powell, Michael Porter Jr., and Chris Dunn on Christian Braun. So this is evenly matched. This potentially is going to be a very good shootout. Every game's possibly going to be in the hundreds for this particular game. Yep, that Nuggets Clippers, it could possibly come down to home court advantage. I know the Nuggets lost the previous year to the T-Wolves in 7. They got the home court advantage against the Clippers. I got the Clippers as a dark horse of the West, but can James Harden and Kawhi Leonard play together for common good and get the Clippers over the edge against the Nuggets? I know the Nuggets have been playing terrible lately. They fired their head coach, fired their general manager. Is this going to potentially give them some sort of spark to win? Was that the whole point of this? Was there more than what meets the eye with the general manager and head coach? They didn't get along. Why this couldn't be solved? Why were they fired 4 games literally before the end of the year? Will this motivate the Nuggets to, jump over that hurdle? So you're going to have a little bit of a distraction there. I know Jokic said the other day that he was tired of scoring 45 points and not winning. I don't know what that means in your window, if they need like another potential star to come to Denver. I don't know if that was his pitch for any free agents out there, maybe. But this is one of my favorite matchups. Can James Harden have a big game, 40-point playoff games? He's had them before. I think this series goes 7. Absolutely goes 7. I think the Denver Nuggets get it together. I think they beat the Clippers in a 7-game series. I think this definitely is going to go the distance. I think matchup-wise, it's almost right down to the T. And if it wasn't for the fact the Nuggets have home court advantage, I would have probably put my money odds on the Clippers. But I'm going to go with the Nuggets to just edge the Clippers slightly in a 7-game series. So let's go to the next one. We're going to have Lakers. Let's look at the Lakers, and we're going to go over to T-Wolves next. Lakers-Wolves. Start with the West. All right, let's type it in. Depth chart. All right, so the Lakers got Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, the guards. Hachimura at the small forward, LeBron James power forward, Jackson Hayes at the center. They're going to be going up against the T-Wolves and Mike Conley Jr. I didn't know he was still in the league. Holy shit. Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Minnesota probably should have tanked and lost the game against Utah. I don't know if Golden State won the last game. I don't think they did, but they should have tried to drop to the 7th seed. But I think that they looked at it like, well, they didn't want to do the play-in tournament, which made sense because then they would have had to beat Memphis in a play-in game for the 7th seed. But Minnesota's going to be taking on a very difficult – they got a task ahead of them, and they're taking on a Los Angeles Lakers team who made a push for a trade to get Luka Doncic in. And that's going to be nasty. Playoff Luka, playoff LeBron, Austin Reeves. Yeah, that's going to be a nasty combination of players there. And they're taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who, again, Ant-Man's been to the Final Four. Mike Conley Jr. the same. Rudy Gobert's been to the Final Four, Western Conference Finals. Julius Randle, the same thing. So Minnesota's got some youth on them, a little bit of experience, veteran experience in like Randle and Gobert, and up and coming surge of Ant Man, who's possibly going to win MVP in the next couple of years. The way it's going, but can they defeat the LA Lakers? I think LeBron's in the best shape he's been in since COVID. I think LeBron has had his best game since then. And therefore, I don't see Minnesota beating LA at all. I don't think they, I think they, they got the youth, but they don't. I think in this case with the Luka trade, I think the Lakers have that trump card right over the Wolves, and I expect to see this series go. It wouldn't shock me if they actually beat the Wolves in maybe 5 games. It's crazy, right? But I've seen the Wolves choke before in the playoffs, especially with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. I can see the Lakers beating them in a best of 5. I can see them beating them 4-1. People are going to call me nuts, but I'm going to go with LA to win 4-1 in that round. Next one is going to be, let's see. Let's type it up here. Hold on. We're going to go Rockets or we're going to go Warriors. I was already looking at the depth chart the other day, but. All right, so our starting 5, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Dillon Brooks, Alperen Sengun. And for the Warriors, you got Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy G, and Draymond. So my favorite matchup is probably going to be Amen Thompson. Well, it's probably Amen Thompson's probably going to have to guard Curry, obviously. Or you probably have to even maybe put Dillon. Or you probably have to put Dillon probably on Butler. You're going to go with Amen Thompson to guard Curry. Like I said, the scariest thing is that, the Rockets, despite the home court advantage, we have a bunch of players that have never made the playoffs. And it's their first time. Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., Tyron Eason, Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore, Jeff Green, Reed Shepard. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But we have a bunch of young guys that never made it. But we do have Steven Adams, Dillon Brooks, and Fred VanVleet that do got playoff experience. And Fred VanVleet did win a championship with the Raptors. So that helps. We got, Fred VanVleet. But, we can compete with the Warriors. I know the Warriors beat us 3-2. Somehow they paired us up 5 games against each other. Because I think they had that NBA, that tournament they do in November. And so we were able to play the Warriors 5 times this year. They beat us 3 out of 4 of the time. So, 5 times. So we went 3-2. That's not too bad. So this obviously is going to be a very physical game. It's going to go down to, players fighting over loose balls. I wouldn't be surprised if I see a couple ejections. There's going to be a bunch of trolling going on. But, again, my heart wants the Rockets to win. We've lost 4 times to this team before. And, 5th time's a charm, maybe. And I want us to win. I do. I really want us to win. But, with the addition of Jimmy Butler and the Warriors, how they were 10 or 11 in the West, and then they jumped right up to potentially could have been the 3rd or the 2nd seed at one point. They were 20-something and 4 or 20-something and 5 down the stretch. It wouldn't shock me if Golden State was to win based on experience play, championship experience play, the fact that they've beaten us before. But I think this young Rockets team can actually carry this to a 7-game series with no doubt. I think so. I want us to win, obviously, but I'm thinking from a realistic standpoint, outside of the fanhood, Warriors are probably the best of the lowest seeds in the tournament. The Warriors are definitely a lot stronger as a 7th seed than the Rockets are as a 2nd seed that are inexperienced. I would love the Rockets to win. And I think if the Rockets were to win, they would have to secure home court advantage, win the first 2 games at home, and potentially just put the pressure on the Warriors to force them to win their home games and go from there. Like I said, it's going to come down to, are the Rockets able to stop Stephen Curry from getting his points? Or if Stephen Curry explodes, can we stop the other role players from making a 30, like, can we stop Jimmy Butler? Maybe Curry gets his 30, but we can put Jimmy at 15 or vice versa. I mean, it's going to be a difficult task. But like anything, I'm looking for the challenge. I want us to beat Golden State, but I think from looking at from the outside perspective, I think the Warriors might beat the Rockets in 7 based on experience. So I hope I'm wrong, but I got Golden State to beat the Rockets in 7. It's a 2-7 matchup. It's probably like my only realistic upset is I'm going to go with the Warriors to beat the Rockets in 7-game series. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one. We're going to have, let's go, because now I broke down the West, I'm going to break down the East. And we're going to just have too many damn links open, so I had to start Xing out of them. This is my second favorite matchup. Hold on. I don't know why it didn't upload. Okay, let's see. Pacers and Bucks, the 4-5 matchup. These two teams hate each other's guts. They hate each other's guts. And it started from last year. I thought it was a pretty cool storyline. The Pacers took their trophy and ran off in the back. What is sort of like a WWE thing. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was hilarious. And, the Pacers and Bucks do not like each other. Pacers got an interesting roster. Tyrese Halliburton, I think he used to play for the Kings. Andrew Nidbar, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and he used to play for the Raptors, and Miles Turner. That's a pretty good, and they got Obi Toppin. I didn't know, does he even still play, Obi Toppin? Ben Shipper comes off the bench. TJ McConnell, he's pretty good too, coming off the bench. For the Bucks, you got Ryan Rollins, Torian Prince, shooting guard, Kyle Kuzma, the small forward position, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brooks Lopez. Now, Damian Lillard obviously starting, but for some odd reason they don't have him in the lineup. I don't know what's going on there. I know they didn't cut his ass, so it's got to be Damian Lillard starting. I don't know why I did that. Give me a second. Depth chart 2025. Yeah, I don't know why it's not got Lillard in there. Does he hurt? I know he ain't hurt. Why is Dame Dollar not in the lineup? Oh, is he hurt? I didn't know that. Be Smooth. Is he injured? Because I don't see him in there. I don't see him in the lineup. Is he on injured reserve or something? Is he hurt? I don't even see him in the line. I don't even see his name on any of the second, third, fourth, or fifth string. Unless he's injured or something. I don't know anything. Did he get kicked out of the league or something? Let me click on injuries real quick. He's out? He's on blood thinning medication, which drastically stepped forward to return on the floor for the Bucks. That was April 17th. Okay, I didn't know that. So Jericho Sims is out too. Now he used to play for the Longhorns, so I know exactly who he is. Gary Trent Jr. is day-to-day. Kevin Porter Jr. used to play for us. Wow, so those injuries might come back to might bite the Bucks in the ass if they don't have Dame Dollar out there. Because if Dame plays, I got the Bucks easily to win this series. Oh, that sucks. So is he going to play or what? Because they got him ruled out. They got Ryan Rollins in, and right now it's the starter. If he don't play, I'm not saying the Bucks can't beat the Pacers, but it makes it a little bit more interesting now. You're looking at maybe the Pacers could edge the Bucks if they don't have Dame Dollar playing. If Damian Lillard plays, I got the Bucks hands down to win this series. But if he doesn't play, the Pacers could barely edge the Bucks. Barely edge them in 7. But if Dame plays, the Bucks win. Simple as that. I didn't know this shit. All right, so I'm gonna assume that Dame is playing. Like, I'm assuming he's gonna end up making it. He's gonna end up playing. I think they'll edge the Pacers. So I'm gonna go ahead just for safety purposes. I'm gonna pick the Bucks to win in 6. All right, so we'll go to the 3-6 matchup. Who's the 3-6? Boston's at 2, and that's the Orlando Magic 7. Who the fuck's at 3? Who's at 3 for the East? I can't think of the 3-6 matchup. It's just not coming to my head right now. Let me look it up. Oh, yeah, the Knicks, what is it? Knicks, and they play Detroit. Yeah, they play the Pistons. All right, so I'm going to go look at the Knicks lineup, then we'll look at the Pistons. Depth chart. The New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and then Karl Anthony Towns. Cat. They got PJ Tucker and DeLon Wright. I didn't know that. The New York Knicks, I didn't know that. They got Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet. He's played for us. Cameron Payne. It's not too bad. Detroit, it's got Cade Cunningham and Tim Hardaway Jr. running the backcourt. I like that. Oscar Thompson, who's pretty good too. Tobias Harris. And they got Jalen Duran, who's not that bad. That actually is not a bad lineup. And they got Malik Beasley coming off the bench and Dennis Schroeder running the second unit. That's actually not that bad. And Isaiah Stewart. These are actually some pretty decent picks. No wonder why the Pistons went from 14 wins to 44 this year. They actually look pretty impressive. The New York Knicks, like I said, they got a good squad too. You know, I know the Knicks fans are going to want to win this one. But I will be honest with you. I like the Detroit Pistons on the upset. I think Detroit is the dark horse of the East, other than the West being Golden State for the obvious reason they're 7. But I like Detroit to win this one. I think somehow the Pistons get it together, and I think they beat the Knicks. I think somehow they beat the Knicks in 6. Something tells me Detroit Pistons win this series. I don't know why, but I like Cade Cunningham and Tim Hardaway Jr. bringing up the ball. Tobias Harris is pretty good. Oscar Thompson, Jalen Duran. And the second unit with Dennis Schroeder and Malik Beasley bringing up the ball, running the backcourt. This actually is not a bad lineup. I think Detroit's going to come in and pull the upset. They're going to pull the upset over the Knicks. I know the Knicks fans are not going to be too happy about that. They're going to say, oh, damn it, it's the same old Knicks. I like Detroit making a possible run at this. Even I think for NBA ratings, they're going to want Boston and New York in the second round. But I like Detroit pulling off the upset. Give me Detroit 4-2 over New York. Calling it now. And last but not least, we're going to go with Celtics depth chart. Let's pull it up. Pull up the Magic. Do you believe in magic? Walt Disney, Disney World. Every time I think of Matt Orlando, I think of that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Orlando looks impressive. Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., France Wagner, um, Caldwell Pope, Corey Joseph, and then honestly think they should put Cole Anthony in the starting lineup. The kid who exploded the last game, and I think that he should possibly be introduced into the starting lineup and give him some more playing minutes. But at the same time, they're going up against the defending champions Boston Celtics. 61-21 season, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis. And then off the bench, you got Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard. You're gonna have who else was off the bench? Peterson, Skyserman, J.D. Davison, Xavier Tillman. And I can go on and on and on. Luke Comet. I would say the Celtics have one of the best benches in the league. And their ability to shoot the three-pointer is definitely lights out. They have the veteran presence. They got a championship squad. They are the defending champions for a reason. And Jason Tatum is all-around beast. Orlando, has a great story. The whole Banchero and Cole Anthony having a monstrous fucking game. I just don't think it's going to be enough to beat Boston. I think the Boston Celtics win. And it wouldn't shock me if the Celtics actually sweep the Magic. Crazy. I didn't think I was going to expect to hear the word sweep, but Orlando has had a very terrible season this year. They went 41-41. They struggled most of the year, almost didn't make the playoffs, barely got in. Played a really good game against Atlanta. Not that that says much, but I think in this playoffs, they're not going to be able to compete against the Celtics at all. I think the Celtics got this, and they're going to win in 4. I think 4 games to none. This is my sweep. Pull the broom out. I got the Celtics sweeping the Orlando Magic. So now that leaves me to my second round matchup. Let's go ahead and got to do the depth chart again, right? We're going to start with the Western Conference. Stop. All right, we got the first one is going to be Thunder and the Nuggets. Now, the Nuggets can actually pull the upset off. They can actually beat the Thunder. Crazy that sounds. You're going to have Jamal Murray guarding SGA. You're going to have Dort and Christian Braun. Michael Porter Jr. and Jalen Williams. Chet Holmgren on Aaron Gordon. And Jokic on Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, the Nuggets actually have the advantage of the center position and maybe even the power forward position. They might actually have the better inside presence that's going to give them the ability to get points inside the paint over this Thunder team. The Nuggets actually could come in surprisingly and beat the Thunder. But the Thunder is on another level. Like the way that they're playing. Like, just hands out on another level. You know what? I'm going to go with an upset here. Go ahead and give me Denver Nuggets to go in to OKC and win the series. That's crazy, isn't it? I actually am going to pick the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Denver Nuggets to win in 6. All right. Give me Denver. This cat's been fighting to get on me all day. Jesus fucking Christ. He acts like a child. Give me Nuggets to win in 6. Upset. Call me crazy. I know the Nuggets had just fired their head coach. They fired their general manager. I think the inside presence of the Nuggets in a playoff game, I think they could get points in the paint. That might slow down that Thunder transitional offense. I think the Nuggets get their shit together. I think they make the Western Conference Finals. Call me nuts. I see it coming. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, so we got one of the most intense matchups in this next one. You got the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Golden State Warriors in round 2. So this matchup, I think Jimmy G is probably going to pair up with Luka. Or LeBron might have to guard Jimmy G. I don't know if they're going to put Luka Doncic on Curry, though. But I do think they'll probably put Austin Reeves on Curry. That's what I'm predicting that matchup's going to be. I think Austin Reeves will guard Curry. I think Luka will probably end up having to guard probably Dre. This is going to be an interesting series. The last time the Lakers won in 6. So this is a rematch of the new and improved Golden State Warriors, who have acquired Jimmy G and was able to build this team up to a 48-34 season when they were like literally 11 seed and under 500, a couple games under. They were able to get their shit together. This is going to be a nasty shit-talking series between these two. And both of these teams hate each other. So Golden State Warriors and Lakers fans, this is equivalent to your Kings-Lakers 2002 Western Conference Finals. There's going to be a lot of shit talking in this one. And it's going to go 7. There's no doubt about it. I think playoff LeBron is just on another level at this point. LeBron looks more focused. Definitely more focused in this case. But I think the Lakers beat the Warriors. 7 games. I think playoff LeBron in the clutch, desperate to win, tired of losing in the previous rounds, hasn't won a championship since COVID. You're going to see playoff LeBron at this moment with the addition of Luka Doncic, I think, being it. I think the Warriors will put up a damn good fight, and it's going to be nasty. Maybe a couple overtimes in this game. I think this potentially is going to be the funnest series to watch, is this one, from a fan perspective. You know, this is a nasty matchup. Yeah, he said agreed. Lakers will be at home too. That will help some too. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, nothing beats seeing Dre and LeBron going at it. Curry and Luka just trash talking. This is going to be very interesting. But I got the Lakers to win. And I think they beat Golden State in 7. 4-3. So my Western Conference Finals will be Lakers against the Nuggets. So now we're going to go to the East. Eastern Conference. Let's type in Cavs depth chart. Let's go to Bucks, because I'm assuming Dame Dollar is going to play. All right, so I got Cleveland and Milwaukee in round 2. And like I said, at this point, I think that the Cavs have got a little bit of confidence in themselves. Darius Garland on Dame Dollar is going to be nasty, if assuming Dame Dollar plays. Donovan Mitchell on Taurean Prince. Kyle Kuzma is going to be guarding Max Strus. Evan Mobley on Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Brook Lopez against Jared Allen. So this is going to be, like, both of these teams have that love-hate for each other too. Milwaukee and Cleveland. Do the Cavs have what it takes to jump that hurdle, or can the Bucks triumph the Cavs? Do the Cavs somehow get it together? This is going to be a very nasty series, and it will go 7. I'm sorry, it's going to go 7. Um, you know what? I think somehow, some way, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Bucks. I think it'll go the distance. It'll go 7, but you're going to see Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland in playoff action. And they're going to have home court. Fans are going to be behind them. They got that inside presence with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I think somehow Cleveland gets it together. They get the win. They win in 7. I'm going to go with Cavaliers to represent the Eastern Conference Finals. Next, we got Celtics. Let's go to that depth chart real quick. They're taking on the Pistons. Remember, I picked Pistons for my upset. Pistons are going to be a fun team to watch. I wonder who Tatum's going to guard. I'm assuming they may put Tatum on Cade Cunningham. And if so, that's going to be pretty fun to watch. And Tim Hardaway Jr., Derek White, another nasty matchup right there. Kristaps Porzingis and Jalen Duran, another good matchup. Now, I think Detroit can compete with them. But in a 7-game series, I think Boston has that experience. And I somehow believe that the Celtics will defend home court. They'll win the first 2 games. They go in Detroit and win probably game 4. I think Detroit probably wins game 3. I got the Celtics to defeat the Pistons in 5. I think this is just where the experience trumps the youth. When that playoff experience, I think the Celtics make a run at it. They're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, absolutely. Go ahead and give me the Boston Celtics to defeat the Detroit Pistons in 5. So let's go ahead and go to the Final 4. We'll start with the East since I'm already still kept the Bucks depth chart. So this is kind of the matchup that everyone wants to see. It's going to be Celtics and Cavs. They had a grueling split series in the regular season at 2-2. And, the Cavs, like I said, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. It's going to be some bad blood going up against the defending Eastern Conference champions. And Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday, Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis. This is going to be a nasty series. A nasty, nasty 7-game series. There'll be a lot of physicality behind this. It's going to get nasty out there. But it's going to come down to who's going to make their shots in the clutch. I got this crazy hunch that I think Boston in this case will defend the ability to win on the road, win some tough games in Cleveland, and be able to extend the series. I think somehow, some way, they find a way to get it done. I got the Celtics to defeat the Cavs in 6. I got Celtics representing your Eastern Conference Finals champions. So I'm going to go with Boston to come out of the Eastern Conference as they defeat the Cavaliers 4-2. It's going to be a good series, don't get me wrong, but I got the Celtics winning and remaining your Eastern Conference champions. So I'll take the Celtics. For the West now, we got the Nuggets depth chart. We got the Lakers. Type Lakers. I know nobody wants to hear that, right? So Luka Doncic is going to be on Jamal Murray, obviously, or maybe Aaron Gordon. No, he'll be on Jamal Murray, or maybe even Michael Porter Jr. LeBron would have to guard Aaron Gordon, for what it looks like. It wouldn't be surprised if you see LeBron guarding Jokic down the paint. It could happen. It could happen. Nuggets swept the Lakers. They've beaten the Lakers, I think, twice in the playoffs. There's going to be some bad blood there. You know, this potential will go 6. Somehow, I think with the addition of Luka Doncic, I think that's what is going to push the Lakers over the hump. I think the Lakers get over that hump, and they will defeat the Denver Nuggets in 6. I think LeBron gets his revenge on the Nuggets. I think so. LeBron wants it bad, and I think he wants that revenge on Denver, and I think he's going to get it. So go ahead and give me the Los Angeles Lakers to defeat the Denver Nuggets in 6. So I got Lakers winning your Western Conference Finals. I got Boston Celtics winning your Eastern Conference Finals, West and East. So now it comes down to the final matchup. Your NBA championship or NBA Finals. I know people don't want to hear this because they're like, Boston and LA, really? Yeah. Ravens. Jason Tatum versus LeBron. The whole Luka trade brings shit ton of ratings. And people don't want to hear that, but just being realistic, that'll be a damn good series. I think this series will go 7. I think it'll go 7. The matchups to see, obviously, Jason Tatum on LeBron. Oh, that's going to be nasty. And probably like maybe either Drew Holiday or Derek White's going to be on Luka. This is going to be a nasty series. A nasty one. This will be fun. The Celtics are the defending champions. They got the depth. The LA Lakers, they haven't been to a final since 2020, COVID, so it's been a while in the bubble. I'm thinking really hard on this one because this is tough. I'm going to have to go with the Lakers to win in 7. And as crazy as it sounds, I think that Luka trade was the it factor for LA. I think it was. I think LeBron is, he's 40. He's desperate for a ring. He's desperate to win his 5th ring. And I think the pressure is just on him to win another one. And I think with this trade that was sort of the Lakers' like all-in approach to win. And I think that I think somehow, again, the Celtics ring count, they're 1 ring ahead of the Lakers, and I think Lakers are going to want to win. They're going to tie. You're going to probably hear about that in the offseason. And I think LeBron is desperate for at least 2 or 3 more rings. I think that he somehow finds a way to get number 5. I think number 5 has just been itching at him now. He might try to get 6, but 5 for sure he has to know that there's at least a 5th ring out there. And I could see LeBron possibly wanting that, especially him being 20-something years in the league. The pressure's going to be there for him to want to win. So go ahead and give me the LA Lakers to defeat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. And I'm going to go with Lakers to be your NBA champion for this year. Much as I love the Rockets, I think their youth is definitely going to be their Achilles heel. I think that's essentially what's going to catch up to the Rockets is the fact that we got a young team and they're still up and coming and building, and it's going to take some playoff experience for them to we're going up against a nasty, nasty Golden State team. And, if we were playing Memphis or something or like Minnesota, I think we'd have a good chance to win. But in this case, against, the Warriors, they pair us up against one of our arch nemesis, a team that has beaten us before. Playoff Curry, playoff Dre, now playoff Butler. That's going to be a tough task. A very difficult, tough task. But yeah, I'm gonna. I got Warriors. I got Lakers, Celtics, NBA Finals. I got the Los Angeles Lakers to win. This is just me taking the fan out of it from a ratings perspective. That's what I got. So I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with me on this. Maybe I want to give y'all opinions before I get out of here. Do y'all think that? Who do y'all got winning the finals? If I'm wrong, tell me. I would love to hear it in the comments as to who y'all believe is going to win. Of course, Smooth's going to ride with his Celtics. I'm pretty sure he is. And if I was you, I would too. Y'all got the best team in the East so far. Still. I think easily you are the Eastern Conference champions. Now, of course, if somehow Denver makes the NBA Finals, they might actually beat Denver. This is going to be a fun NBA playoffs, and I am excited. OKC beats the Lakers. Okay, so you got OKC in the Final Four. Okay. OKC versus Cavs in the finals. OKC in 7. So you don't even got the Celtics making it. Ooh. I like the Thunder and the Cavs. I just don't know if they're going to make a deep playoff run. We've seen the Thunder lose to the Mavs before. So if you're OKC, like I said, from a, fan perspective, I don't want to see LA or Boston in the finals because then it's like, oh, same old shit. But at the same time, like from a ratings perspective, I could kind of understand why they would go that route. Not saying it's rigged, but why it would probably make sense to see LeBron in the finals. If Lakers win, they tie the Celtics for most titles. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of the NBA play-in tournament? I think it's great. I think it makes up for like a March Madness bracket, sort of in your window. March Madness, Phil. But at the same time, I've heard rumors, and this is just rumors, that the NBA is going to make it a 24-team tournament if they do, in fact, add 2 new franchises, the Seattle Supersonics and whatever they decide to do with Vegas basketball team. They'll have 32 teams, and so to spike it, I've heard that they may just go ahead and add more playoff teams and do a top 12. That's the rumors I've been hearing. I think it would be great. I think that would add another March Madness element to it. You would have 5 going up against 12, 6 at 11, 7, 10, 8, 9. You'd have your top 4 getting a first round bye. So that means that possibly, the top 4 seeds could get possibly a week and a half to 2 weeks off before between the end of the regular season and the official first round. Or that would be the second round of the playoffs, which would be your final 8. So I think it would be pretty cool. I like it. More basketball. I wouldn't mind. You're riding with the Celtics? Okay. You got the Celtics beating the Lakers in 6. Okay, so you got Celtics and Lakers in the finals. So you pretty much agree with me. That's what the finals is going to be. You just disagree with the winner. I got Lakers in 7 or 6, and you got Celtics in 6. Okay. So we agree that it's going to go to 6. We disagree on the team. So we pretty much agreed on who's going to make the finals. We just disagree on that. Cameron's got OKC and Cavs. Okay. Miami Heat could beat the Cavaliers in the first round. Absolutely. If Cavaliers got a lot of injuries and they're struggling, absolutely Miami could go in and punch them right in the mouth. Now, imagine if Dame doesn't play, Pacers beat Bucks, Miami beats Cleveland. Could Miami beat the Pacers? Maybe. Or could Pacers win and make the Eastern Conference Finals? Now imagine that monkey wrench being thrown in there. You know, that's what I kind of like about this playoff format is there could be some upsets in the first round. The only like real upset that I really got is Golden State beating us, which I really wouldn't call that an upset. I think that the Warriors are definitely a lot better than the number says they are. Like they're 7 in the West, but they got 48 wins. And they beaten us 3 out of 5 times, or they beaten us 3 times and we beaten them 2. So it's not technically like that much of a difference. We had 52 wins at 48, so there's a 4-win separation. The last day of the NBA season, it was like anyone from like 3 to 7 were possibly could have gotten that spot. So it just was like a half a game differential. You know, I think it was good that the Rockets rested their players the last 3 games, absolutely. But then it could bite us in the ass too. Too much rest. That also could be bad too. Being the best first round series, possibly, because of the hate they have for each other, absolutely. Playoff basketball is the greatest part of the year. Oh, absolutely. I agree. It is the best part of the year. And so what I like about this year is there's not too many injuries that I know of. So it's going to be fun. Now, the question is, where does Kevin Durant go next year? He's going to want to go to a contender. I think Durant will go. I mean, they said Miami. He wanted to go to Miami, New York. Was on his destination, Houston, but I don't think Houston's going to make a trade for him, though, because we'd have to give up the house. You know, and whoever trades for Durant's going to have to give up the house. I don't know at this point. Durant's almost 37 years old. And I like Kevin Durant. I think he's a great jump shooter. He can give you 30-plus points a night when he's really hooping. The problem is he's injury prone. And he's known for quitting a lot. He's known for having a bad attitude. And he wants to request trade when things don't go his way. And it's like you've seen him do this after the OKC run. Not the same Kevin Durant that used to play for the Thunder. He played for the Nets, had a rotten attitude. He played for the Suns. He's got a rotten attitude, and it's just like I don't know, man. I don't want to risk that because we've had players like that before in the past, where they've had like little bad attitudes, and it's like I don't want to go through that shit again. Especially that we've already rebuilt. Why are we going to risk giving up 6-7 guys to, acquire somebody who's just known for quitting when things don't go his way? And it's like, it's like I'd rather just have a bunch of young guys develop like we are now. The course you got 5 years in. A lot of these guys got 3-4 years in. You've rebuilt. We had losing seasons for 5 years fucking straight, except for this year and last year we were 41-41. This year we broke the bar. We absolutely raised the bar with 52 wins. And so why would I want to risk bringing in Kevin Durant, giving up the house, and he has a rotten attitude, and it's just like, oh, this ain't working out, and I'm not playing. It's like, nah, man, I don't want to deal with your crap. Just all for winning what, So it's like, I'd rather just, hey, look, 52 wins, I'll nail it on there. But what should the Phoenix Suns do? Well, first of all, you have to trade Durant. That's the first move. You're gonna have Bill, you'll have D-Book, but only problem is, I don't really like Bradley Beal. Sorry, he's not good anymore. D-Book's all on the... The problem with Devin Booker is he's too small. He can shoot the ball, sure, but he can't play defense because he's like fucking like 6 feet tall or 5 feet 11. And, a guy like him can easily be boxed out. He can be easily beaten off the ball. It's like beating off the dribble. It's like, to me personally, it's like, if I'm the Suns, I have to sit here and think about it. Okay, do I want to keep Devin Booker here for like a 2-year extension and pay him $154 million, keep him here 2 more years, and he's already on the back end. He's almost 30 years old at this point, or late 20s. He's got a lot of mileage on those legs. I hate to think like that, but I'm thinking like from longevity. It's like, why not I just trade him now, get draft prospects from it, instead of just, this year was a 36 and 46 year. You had 3 veterans on the squad with no bench. why not just go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Book, Bradley Beal, and I'm going to get rid of Kevin Durant, and then I'm going to get rid of Allen from the bench. That I can't think of his first name. He's like fucking 24 with gray hair already. It's like I'm ready. You know, those are your veterans, your 4 veterans. So I'm thinking, okay, I got trade value for all 4. Why keep them around when this just isn't working? You know, if I'm the Suns, rebuild like the Rockets did, you're going to wait 4 or 5 years, but fuck it, what else you got? Patience. So to say, you know what? I'm willing to blow this up. Fuck it. Next year, I'm willing to trade the entire. I think once Durant said he's done with the Suns, I think you're just done with the whole project. There's no way you're going to sell Book and Bill running the ball next year, and the 2 leaders of your team, and everybody else is just subpar to next to 0-0 with no draft picks. And what are you going to build around this next? You got to lure in another veteran. No one's going to want to play with Phoenix at that given state. They're going to be like, hell no. So I just say, well, if I'm the GM, I'm telling the owner I'm blowing this shit up next year. I'm getting rid of Durant. Dallas will probably give us something for him. They're desperate. I'm looking at the most desperate team on the board, and I'll make a deal with them. I'll say, what are you willing to give me to make this done? You give me Gafford, you give me Marshall, you're going to give me some of those first-round draft picks? Absolutely. Here he goes, Kevin Durant. You can have him and throw him right there. And it may work out. You know, you got Durant, Kyrie, Clay, AD. They may actually win a damn ring next year by accident. And you know what? I wouldn't trip, because I would look at it, you give me some of your players, and you give me them first-round draft picks, future first-round draft picks, you can have them. And just say, I'm rebuilding. I'm moving on from this guy. And then after that, I'm going to talk to Bradley Beal and tell him I appreciate you coming here for a couple of years, but this isn't working out, and we're going to trade you. He says, sorry, business. So you could probably get to maybe maybe like a 2-for-1 role players, or maybe like a second-round pick for him, just to get rid of him. And then, you know, clear up that cap space. And then after that, I'll talk to Devin Booker. I say, look, man, I know you don't want to rebuild again. I get it. I wouldn't want to either if I were you. You're already almost 30. You're not going to want to stick around. I understand. So I think it's just best to just go our separate ways. How about that? It just didn't work out, but I appreciate all the years you did. This isn't working out. So let's just go ahead and lay down. This isn't working out. So, you know, I'll just, shop around for Devin Booker, get him out. And then that way you then acquire all these first-round draft picks. And boom. The stack Dax. If I'm Phoenix, I'm lining up till 2030 on first-round draft picks. Yeah. I'll be having 2 first-round draft picks like every year for like 4 years straight. I'm good. So we can rebuild. We'll get Allen out of there too, and trade Allen, maybe get a conditional second-round pick for him, get rid of him too, acquire some of those future talent, and just rebuild and just, tell the fans, you got to be patient. Got to let itself sort itself out. Unless somehow the Suns try to get desperate and try to get Joel Embiid or something, maybe Paul George in the offseason, and you're going to have you can have Bill, George, Book, Embiid, a desperate attempt, maybe. But I don't know, man. That's the risk. That's really a risky thing, man. I don't know if the Sixers would be willing to make a deal on that. That it's still a lot. It's still a risk. I don't know if I'd risk bringing in Joel Embiid. So I would just say, you know what, fuck it, just rebuild the whole damn thing. Give me my first-round draft picks. I'm good. I'm straight. I'll do that on my own. And that's what they should do. Do I see any other players moving around? I mean, maybe some, a couple players here or there. Other than that, man, it's going to be a pretty interesting NBA offseason, because everybody's going to want to know where Kevin Durant's going. So that's going to be definitely the pitch for Phoenix Suns to rebuild and acquire what they can get for that first round draft picks. Absolutely. So, yeah, well, that's pretty much it for basketball. I haven't done an NBA playoff predictions in years, and I said, you know what, this is a pretty exciting year to watch basketball. I think I'm going to go ahead and, you know, give my predictions. You heard the Celtics made a request for Durant. Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Oh, well, I'm glad you didn't jump on that. Now, I bet because y'all went on one last year, so that was actually a pretty good reason for y'all not to. So the playoffs start Saturday, but there's 2 games tomorrow, and those are those playing games. Like I said, I think Dallas goes into Memphis to get the win. Now, Jay Morant might get traded from Memphis, and then Trae Young from Atlanta. So it could be an interesting shakeup to see what Memphis and Atlanta can do with if they trade the players that they trade. So you could be seeing Morant with a new team. You could be seeing Trae Young in a new uniform. So I forgot about that. So you got 2 guys there. You got Durant, Book, Beal. So you're going to see some guys in this trade format here. That's going to be it's going to make it interesting, And I'm curious if Jokic wants to remain in the Nuggets. I mean, I just throwing that out there because of his frustration with Denver. I think unless somehow Denver wins the championship this year, he might just say, trade me. And that could just throw a whole monkey wrench in the whole system. Imagine Jokic in another uniform. I would find that crazy, but imagine like him getting traded. So it's going to make for an interesting offseason, I guess. But I failed my playing predictions. I had the first 2 games right. I had Golden State beating Memphis. I had Orlando beating Atlanta. But I picked the Bulls over the Heat and lost that one. And then I had Dallas winning in the Kings. I had them winning, but not like that. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout or anything like that. But I did have them winning, absolutely. So, like I said, it's a fun year in NBA. I was blessed enough to actually go to 3 Mavericks games. I didn't even go to a Rockets game this year. But I went to 3 games for the Mavericks back in November. The third they played the Magic and won. They lost to the Pacers on Monday, and then Wednesday they beat the Bulls. Just spanked their ass. Fucking spanked them, bro. And it was fun. It was fun going to a Mavericks game, especially I got to watch Luka Doncic play. And that was fun, seeing him play in a Mavericks uniform. And then he ends up getting traded. So it was like, I took my buddy, Travis, a good friend of mine. He never been to a Luka Doncic game. He was able to go. And I said, you know what? Just to be a nice guy, I paid for some game tickets for him to go to additional games. So we went to 3 games together, but I sent him to 6 additional games, including the last game of the year against the Raptors. They played against Toronto. And so I sent him to that game against the Suns, even though they lost, but it went down to the last second on that. I think it was that Friday in November I'd left. Came back to Houston. But I bought Travis a whole bunch of tickets to Mavericks games. So he was able to watch the Mavericks this year for 9 games. And I thought it was pretty cool to give him that experience. Unless he hasn't been to a Mavs game in so long. So, yeah, Dallas Mavericks do got a nice stadium. Absolutely. I still have those videos on there, by the way. The Mavs starting lineup, the game against Pacers. I think I have a little bit of that on there. It was fun, man. Just to go to a Mavs game. I went to 3. What I like, I've been to Spurs games before. When they played the Rockets in the past. I was going to go this year, but they scheduled the games at the beginning of the year, back-to-back games in San Antonio on March the 26th, or April 26th, and I think April 30th or something. It was like a Friday, Monday. Back-to-back games in San Antonio. That pissed me off so bad. So I was like, why y'all didn't spread them out? The schedule was terrible for the Rockets this year, and I was actually looking forward to going against that game against San Antonio. I haven't been to San Antonio in 8 years, and believe it or not, San Antonio's half the distance than Dallas. And I haven't been to San Antonio in 8 years. It's just I know a couple of friends that live there, but one's married and one's always working at the restaurant. So they never really had that much free time. So I don't really know anybody in San Antonio that I would just go down there and make that trip. Does that make sense? Plus, I already know my way around Dallas. I know my way around Fort Worth. I know my way around the whole entire DFW area. So I was like, so I know exactly where to go, places to go, things to do. Um, yeah, I'm actually might go to the the if you guys look up Addison Kaboomtown, it's they have a fireworks show there once a year on July 3rd at a private airport strip in Addison Airport, and they have a nice little hill you can sit on. It's a family event. They have a World War II plane show for about 4 hours, followed by the fireworks show. And if you miss it, you have to wait till the following year. I didn't get to go the last couple of years. I didn't go in 2023 or 2024. And in 2023, I got fired from Walmart, had to get a security job in June, and then didn't have any money or couldn't take time off for July. I just got that new job. Then I get the job here that I'm currently at now. And I got hired in May, the day after Memorial Day, May 28th. So what happened? I couldn't go. I couldn't get time off for July because I was still training at the time. So I had to miss that as well, which sucked. It is what it is. You can't get mad about it. Work's work. But this year, now that I'm a year in, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the fireworks show this year. But this time, I'm actually gonna get a hotel in Addison, right by the airport strip. So it's literally like I could walk to the airport strip if I wanted to, and maybe get a nice hotel, 2 bedroom or something like that, and see what's going on with that, and then have a nice fireworks show. And I'll live stream it too. It'll be all on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna live stream the event, take pictures and stuff, so you guys will get to see the fireworks show. It's a 30-minute event from 9:30 to 10, but it feels like an eternity. Beautiful fireworks show, and it's only once a year. So it's called Addison Kaboomtown. You can look it up on YouTube and type it in and see the videos. And then Fair Park has a fireworks show July 4th, which is Friday this year. Only problem is that it's at the Cotton Bowl where the OU in Texas plays. Where the OU by SMU Stadium or by SMU. The only thing is that with that case, the fireworks show is okay, but it's not great. Addison Kaboomtown is like 30 times better than Fair Park. Fair Park's okay, like just to say that you went. The fireworks show's all right, but the Addison Kaboomtown is where it's at. That's the fireworks show. So yeah, so I might stay in Dallas for 5 days. Got some buddies up there that want to hang out. And then after that, I might go to Louisiana for 2, come back. So I'm going to be off from July 2nd to the 11th. Come back to work on the 12th. So I have like a nice little 10-day vacation. I'm not complaining. I'll take a 10-day vacation. I can use the time off anyway. I want to have a 10-day vacation from work. And just, when you work so much, like I work 60 hours a week, sometimes 70, bro. And that's why y'all don't see me stream anymore because of that. Like I'm literally, I go to work tomorrow at 6. So like I got to get a haircut at like 2 just to get a haircut before I go to work. Sometimes I get up and it's 2 p.m. I got to go right back to work at 6. Just take a shower, shave, boom, right back at work again. Sometimes I don't even eat. I lost 23 pounds in 8 weeks, not even eating as much because of the schedule. My free world schedule is low. Like, yeah, I get 11 hours for my next shift, but 8 of those hours I'm sleeping. So I wake up, I got like 3 hours to do everything I got to do, and then go right, and then hour to commute. So I only got 2 hours. Take a shower, shave, eat if I can. So sometimes I gotta nibble on a little something, head out right at the door, boom, another 12-hour shift, right like a boom. And so yeah, the pay's great. The overtime is damn good. damn good money. Time and a half. So if you're making $24 an hour, you time and a half, that's $36. So you add that times whatever hours you go over. That's why working at overtime matters, because your checks can be like double or double and a half versus just working a regular 40-hour shift. I'm like, well, shit, I'm gonna try to double that check or double and a half. You know, so you try to work as much overtime as you can, so your checks will be freaking enormous. But then you also need your time off. You gotta have that. You know, without your time off, you'll burn yourself out. Because you know, you can work 5 days, 12 hours, maybe a 16, 2 16s, and you're tired. The last thing you want to do, is go to work every day. So like, you do need time off. You'll burn yourself out if you work every day. And when I first got off of training, I worked 31 days straight. When I first got off of training, I was just, my head was in the sand and just boom. You know, and it was like, I got an email saying, Rose, you worked 31 days straight. You need to take a day off. I'm like, oh shit. It's like, sometimes you forget. Your mind is trained to keep going to work, keep going to work, keep going to work, and you don't slow yourself down. And next thing you know, you burned out, and then you're not living anymore. You know, like the little time I get to myself, I'm like, man, I want to enjoy life. You know, I mean, yeah, sure, the money's good, but it ain't worth sacrificing your time over. The pay's great, but you just want to know that you could be able to, you know, get some time away. You know, you just need time off. Because if not, you're going to burn yourself out. You know? That'll probably be for another video. You know, that probably would be what I should have streamed over. You know? Burning yourself out. Shit like that. Would you ever go to another football game again? I don't have the passion for NFL football like that. If I'm going to go to a football game, it's going to be a college football game. See the jersey I'm wearing right there? That's where I'm going to fuck with. I ain't going to no NFL game no more. NFL doesn't excite me anymore. You know, it just doesn't excite me anymore. I don't have the same passion for NFL football anymore that I once did. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but I actually like basketball more than football now, which is weird to say because I always was an NFL guru. You know, I'm more into college football and NBA than I am in NFL. Crazy as it sounds. Like, NFL is completely, to me, I just completely lost interest in football, in NFL football, for some odd reason. I don't know if it's just my team's never going to win. I don't know what the case is. But for me, NBA basketball is more exciting, and college football is more exciting to me than NFL football. I don't know why. It's just lately I've just been burned out of NFL football. So, I mean, I like the draft, don't get me wrong. And I like the NFL season, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, it is what it is. Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely. B Smooth said he'd rather watch that. I might do another live, actually. I might end this video and start a new one because I think I got kind of an idea on what I want to talk about in my next video. So I might do it right now. I'm going to end the stream and start a new one. Give me a second. Hold on.